after I filed a protective disclosure of fraud, waste, and abuse. And they modified the contract, removed my position, and then a couple days after I was removed and gone, they changed contract back and replaced me. It's like, wow, can you do that? Yeah, they can. You know, and that was my awakening, if we will, to the just abject corruption within the whistleblower system, within the within our the Inspector General's office, you know, and I've been basically fighting that, and the more I tried to fight it, the deeper I ended up getting. The more I tried to fight it, the more I started to see how, you know, the Congress, on both sides, left and right, were just bought and paid for by the military-industrial complex. My former colleagues, right? I worked for a company called Dynology. Dynology was a small family-owned company owned by General James Jones. I'm his national security advisor. He was a former NATO Supreme Allied Commander, the SACEUR, the Supreme Allied Commander of Europe. This man has a lot of power and influence, right? Think about it, the NATO commander. NATO and Russia, do they get along very well? No. Well, you know, General Jones owns another company called Jones Group International, which is one of the largest Saudi energy lobbies, you know, oil lobbies in D.C. Right, so if I was National Security Advisor, these people with all these power and influence are basically the reason that, in my opinion, and what I'm trying to be able to bring to Congress and expose are the connections that bring us right into the war in Ukraine, right? Go to a company called clearforce.com. Very simple, right? Oh, he's talking conspiracies. No, every single thing that I'm saying tonight, you can verify. My background, I don't have any time machines, nothing like that, right? You can go to my Facebook and see my posts and shit going back to that. You can see I am who I am. I'm not Pat Tillman, I'm Pat Bergy, right? Kind of like a jacked up, broke dick PFC, and I'm okay with that. I'm proud of my service, and it was a tremendous experience, right? But I was away from my family for almost 8 years overseas, whether in uniform and as a contractor, right? And I come back, you know, and I'm trying to expose this stuff. I'm reaching out to journalists like Sarah Carter, Judge Shapiro, and they're throwing me under the freaking bus. And then I start seeing all of Jones's connections, like former the vice president for Jones Group International. She's one of the chief White House correspondents for Fox News, right? So everywhere I go, I'm, you know, coincident, you know, just like running into these corrupt pieces of shit that, you know, and then I'll have these people that like will attack me with lies and all this crap, because what am I doing? I'm exposing social media psychological warfare, right? I'm exposing the weaponization by our government, but more specifically the military-industrial complex, and their partners with Facebook and Twitter, right? Twitter in Shadowgate, which came out 2 months before the election. You'll see how I was showing how my former boss, General Jones, was the chairman of the board of Atlantic Council at the same time that Atlantic Council partnered with Facebook to restore election integrity worldwide, right? And to combat fake news. I'm looking at this going, really, the guy I built the Shadownet for is the best person that Facebook could find to combat fake news, right? Because Shadownet was basically designed to be used to as basically a project management tool for social media psychological operations. Hey, Iceberg, for all of these different things, right? And so, you know, I'm a whistleblower. I do these podcasts and stuff not because I have any desire to do them. And as soon as I can be able to, I have one thing that I want to be able to do. I want to be able to testify and tell my story before Congress, or the Weaponization Committee in Congress, right? But that's a problem too. Jordan is one of the people that's in charge of that committee, right? Weaver, the producer producer, right? Not my dog. My puppy's sleeping like good. You have a problem though. Um, Millie Weaver worked for InfoWars, right? You would think Trump would have heard about her arrest. She live streamed her arrest, going, "Hey, oh my God, I'm uploading a documentary exposing Obama's national security advisor, by the way, who was Obama Biden's administration, exposing election influence, and Trump president. Trump doesn't do anything. I'm attacked by InfoWars, right? Because my story ties in. My story kind of points towards Paul Manafort as being involved in election influence in the 2008 McCain primary, where I actually had the opportunity to speak to Rudy Giuliani, hung out with him. He watched like 20, 30 minutes of Shadowgate. And at the end, I was like, hey, how do you feel about this, right? He ran in the primary, in the Republican primary in 2008 against John McCain. And I told him, how did you feel about that? You almost certainly lost, at the very least, because John McCain and Paul Manafort used morally and ethically bankrupt, taxpayer-funded social media psychological warfare tools for a competitive advantage in their election, right? And he was like, wow, that sucks. Man, I thought, he was going to help. But then he's silenced, right? And I find all of the people that I've gone to since Millie's arrest, since I was on InfoWars, and Alex Jones is like, well, we're never going to talk about this again. Mr. Frickin' Conspiracy Theory, right, has a guy sitting on his stage as his employee of 8 years is being arrested, or was just arrested, and he's saying, listen, right, this is happening. And everything I was saying turns out to be completely right. Millie all the charges are dropped on her, so anything anybody said about her, this being a setup or something, I don't know exactly how that would have happened, right? Maybe it did, I don't know. But she was uploading the documentary that of my claims as a verifiable DOD whistleblower. She's arrested. An American journalist, a mother, they arrested her husband and her brother, right? And it was all buried. And then Millie, myself, this woman, Tori Morris, who was already also in the Shadowgate thing, but to the best of my knowledge, had set this up from the beginning to just discredit anything that I was trying to expose. So, kind of a poison pill, I think they would call it in that. Again, very close relationships to Roger Stone and the other people. In fact, she did an interview with Stone 2 days after. 2 days after Millie reached out to me, and about a day or two before the events that led to Millie's indictment, the sealed indictment, the event that day. So, but I'm drifting, I'm kind of jumping around here, but that is, in a nutshell, where I'm at. That's like a super elevator version.
I kind of checked out the indictment of Millie Weaver, and it seems, you can always tell when something bogus is laid in place to block something else from happening. It's like, I don't know her well, but seeing how what family they all come from, the indictment was for burglary. Something about her mom, something to do with $50 taken for a cell phone or some kind of shit like that. Mom had a Karen moment. But it seemed too convenient to jump on that and hex it out and shelf it. I mean, did Shadowgate ever come out at all, or was it ever released?
It was released as she was being arrested. She she was uploading it. He funded it, she was his employee, and she put this documentary together. He fired her almost immediately after. I don't even think she was out of jail yet, and he had fired her. And He had left, according to Millie, in a voicemail that he had been told to fire her by Roger Stone, right? Because apparently Roger Stone got butthurt about something I said in there instead of actually talking to me, instead of actually challenging maybe something I said or they said, right? He's just like, fire everybody, shut this the fuck up, right? And nobody ever talked about it again. Oh, and put that guy Bergy on a burn list. Nobody fucking do anything with him. And but we ended up in DC from what, November of Millie was there. Millie and those guys got there like right after like November 4th or something. I ended up getting there around November 15th of 2020, and we were right there with Patrick Byrne, with General Flynn, right, with Sidney Powell. We were right there with. I was right there, meeting with all the people, all of these people that could have taken the signed sworn affidavit that I had right in front of them, that I had provided to them, that I had just 8 months earlier, 10 months earlier, submitted as a Ketam whistleblower lawsuit in D.C. federal court, which, by the way, was dismissed without prejudice because it had merit, but they wouldn't let me go forward without having an attorney, something that I can't afford unless I can be able to, get help, right? So that's where we are with that. I'll get so interrupted.
Yeah. Sounds like a real shitstorm, but I mean, it gave you content to write a book. I mean, I know the Shadowgate. I don't know if most of you are. I was born in '75, but we all had a Nintendo game called Shadowgate. You know that, Phil?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah, I remember this. I don't know what grade I was in, but Shadowgate back then was a little strategic game. There was a game called Myst that was released that kind of reminded me of it. But you go into this, shut up. You go to multiple dungeons, and certain little things do certain things. It's almost like Dragon's Lair, but you're not seeing the character, you want the third person. But you go
like
through and you have.
Game too.
Yeah, actually it is.
Shadowgate was named after ShadowNet. ShadowNet was not the classified name of what we worked on, but what we named the commercial version of it when we brought it back to the U.S., retained the, oh hi Goldie, retained the intellectual property rights for what we developed on a taxpayer-funded contract for the Four Psychological Operations Group with its POTIF over in Baghdad, Camp Victory. And we brought it back to the States and sold it commercially to the highest bidder, right? The capability, whether it was for law enforcement, but I do know, I found out later on, I did not know this at the time, almost all the time that I had spent, except for 1 year that I was with at MacDill with supporting a contract with the JMIS, the Joint Miscellaneous over at MacDill. With the exception of that 1 year, my 8 years with Dynology was overseas, right? So I was never really involved with any of the corporate stuff, and I always tried to stay off the radar. But I answered most of that time, I answered directly to Jim Jones, General Jones's son. And, again, these are people you want, okay, we'll give Hunter shit, and we'll acknowledge he has a healthy shit too. But can we stop and take a moment and maybe look at some of these other people, like Obama's national security advisor, like the NATO Supreme Allied Commander, who is whose families are profiting from selling weapons? Okay, maybe. Or we could look at the Clear Force site. We can go there and we can look and see that was like founded by General Jones and General Hayden, the CIA director. What does Clear Force do? Well, Clear Force builds predictive behavioral models like Minority Report, right? Where they scrape your social media, they scrape your personal and business and corporate emails. They tell you both in and out of the workplace. They tell you that in their site. They brag about it. They take all this information. They take your financial, your medical, all of these things. Look at the people on the board of directors of clearforce.com. Go to the about section, right? You'll see the founders of the two of the big three credit reporting agencies, Equifax and the other one. You'll see all of these people as board of advisors of the board of directors, and this company owned by the CIA director, Obama's CIA director, and his national security advisor, the NATO commander, is determining not only who gets a job, not only who keeps a clearance and gets a clearance in the U.S., because what ClearForce was built to do was to provide NISPOM compliance for people who have clearances, right? Which, by the way, Jones and Hayden both had a hand in making that NISPOM requirement, and now they're getting $1,500 a month, as I hear, for licensing to meet that compliance for anybody who has clearance. But think about it. They can control the algorithms to determine anything they want, right? Who has control over that? It's a completely automated process. And by the way, it's not just for clearances. If you go to their website, you'll see every major mainstream news organization, CNN, Fox News, AP, you name it, right? The only one I don't think I saw on there was like MSNBC, but they're probably somewhere on there. And all of these companies boast their HR using ClearForce, which means National Security Advisor. God bless you. Obama's National Security Advisor is determining who gets a job and loses a job. Oh, and the CIA director determines who gets a job and loses a job throughout all of mainstream media, which may explain why everything seems like it's all one-sided. Couldn't be the Mockingbird media people talked about, would it?
Operation Mockingbird, 2023.
Mockingbird out of the government control and brought it into the military-industrial complex. Couldn't be that.
I'll tell you what, man. You got some balls. I'm gonna tell you that right. You got some balls.
Oh,
I'll tell you where I got the hypothesis from. I played that InfoWars video earlier. This one right here. I'll play just a couple seconds of it.
Because I can tell you, nobody's calling me up from the CIA or General Jones and they never tell me what to do. I mean, I'm literally doing whatever I want.
And that's not how it would work. What we would do is we would use an organization like InfoWars, using you as an asset, whether you know about it or not.
See, you just fucking put your gigantic, like, Incredible Hulk cock, big green cock on the table. You just fucking call him an asset right to his face. He's all, you say, you know, I would have used you like a cheap whore. Like a cheap whore, a mad whore.
I was sitting there in the studio, which is in the middle of the military-industrial complex in Austin. I mean, all the buildings around it were military contractors, and even their building. You could look at it. When I looked at their building, I was a signal support guy, right? I'm looking at the comms on every one of these buildings going, these are military grade. So, you tell me if I was wrong. I walked into his studio and I'm like, Jesus, that looks just like I recognize this place.
Well, he said live from the military fucking complex. I mean, he wasn't lying. I mean,
No.
he's pretty geared up over there. You know, I've seen some video and some setup, and you'd need a nice little arsenal to get into his area if he didn't want you in there.
I'm too dumb for my own good, right? If I knew then what I did now, there's no way I'd fucking walked in there. I probably wouldn't done any of this, right? It's just, holy shit, right? Who would have called that? Who would have thought that I get contact? These people reached out to me. I didn't reach out to them. They saw that I had filed my key tam, and I was contacted by Millie through Tori. Millie worked with InfoWars 8 years. I was sitting there across from the studio, not even wanting to be on the set. The deal all I wanted was to have, to be able to have a conversation with Alex Jones privately and be able to look him in the eye, right? Because you can't freaking tell if people are lying until you actually sit there and look them in the eye. At least you have a better opportunity with that. There's our Gen X rubbing off, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, look what I got for that. I thought, well, this guy, you know, I even said, everybody else has screwed me over. Maybe, ironically, the one place I thought I couldn't trust is the place I could trust. And guess what? I got fucked. Oh, I guess I was right, you know? But he has tens and tens of thousands of followers that say that they support the veterans, right? Fucking not this one. Threw this one under the bus. They buried him for a bunch of fucking InfoWars boner pills. And I spent 8 years of my life overseas. I made some major fucking sacrifices. Like I said, I was PFC Bergy, not PFC, not Patrick Tillman, right? So, am I not? Can someone at least? Am I wrong in saying what the fuck? Am I wrong in being a little pissed off? Am I wrong? And I'm not the most artful person. I shouldn't be here doing this. If I'm here doing this, our entire system has fucking failed, man. It really has, right? But I'm like, clearly, somebody who is a patriot. I enlisted at 39. I had a family and stuff. I felt it in my heart, right? And I survived basic training. 98% of the guys that I went in that were 35 to 39 did not make it. I think of like 2 other guys that were in that range that made it through. The rest of them crapped out, and I don't know how I made it through. Met bare minimum requirements on the run, on the push-ups, on everything. Like I said, bare minimum on everything. I made it. Fuck you, I made it, right? So,
Alright, here. Hey, we're at that point we gotta go to commercial and I go here to the round table. So I just play this song and Phil's like, what the fuck? That worked.
You seem to like balls and ass. We haven't talked about shit yet, though.
We're getting there. We're getting there. After this little commercial, we're going to get back to the round table and we're going to talk about not only the new South Park character suggestion, but an incredible, weird thing that Hunter Biden's doing.
Now let's have some more fudge.
Shake and bake. Fudge, yeah!
Fudge.
yeah.
Do you have the stuff or not? What do you mean you don't have it? Check the deal. Where am I supposed to get it at? Fine. Well, then you do your thing! Fudge. What kind do you want? Yeah. There's no need. Someone else is packing my fudge now.
Enjoyed that commercial. Pretty fucking awesome, huh? Live, Foxborough, North Carolina. I guess this is a little church town, and I'm telling you, if they really knew that this show was running here in their backyard. This is the Bible Belt. I mean, I'm all about the Lord too. Don't get me wrong. I might not look like it, but I mean, they might come lynch me one day and be like, "We ain't bringing that bullshit here. Not here in this town." So I'm just waiting for it now. So yeah, welcome back to the Sanitarium. I'm just talking shit because that's what I do. This is the second. Oh shit, we're in overtime now. It's 9:50. We're a few minutes over. Such an awesome guest tonight. I mean, we're just hearing all sorts of shit, but we're about to get to the main event here. But this is the time where I introduce the round table. Here, this is better. The round table. Relief. This is where I announce the round table. We're bringing our guest, and we all just talk it out. So let me go ahead and start introducing motherfuckers. Are y'all ready? Alright, let me go ahead and bring up some music here. Alright, geared up. Alright. Actually, the round table. Next we have Bill. Next we have my BFFF, best fucking friend, fucking forever, Ron. We have my other BFFFFFFFF friend for life. We have the Execution. Next, we have Terry the Tank. I mentioned Tank earlier. We're having a little discussion about a tank here in a second. Oh,
Hey, I have a very nice tank.
where the fuck is... We're missing a couple people. Oh, here we go. Let's bring the music back. Now we have the big dick rock star, Tristan Purple Sticky. Wait. Where the fuck he go? He's gone. There he is. Alright, let's try this again. Purple Sticky himself.
But we lost Terry.
What the fuck? And we lost the tank.
And where's Mr. Bergy?
Oh, he's right here. Mr. Bergy.
There we go.
All you motherfuckers calling in here and not fucking getting you a good connection going. Alright, here's the rock star himself.
I'm going. It's gonna shoot me.
It's the deep state. It's after Purple Sticky.
Deep State got Purple Sticky. Oh, yeah.
We got rid of that tank guy, too.
Oh, Terry's gone too?